Hello and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Thursday, 21 May. I am your host Daniel, and today we're going to talk about German authorities have arrested 2 people on Chinese espionage charges. Merz is pitching an associate position for EU membership to Ukraine, and new controlled maritime zone at the Straits of Hormuz, says Iran. So firstly, investigators on Wednesday arrested 2 Munich residents on suspicion of spying for China, the Office of Federal Prosecutor said. The suspects are a married couple with German citizenship, identified by Huan C. and Hua S. Prosecutors said that the pair were working for Chinese Secret Intelligence Agency. In the statement, they said in order to obtain access to scientific information about high-tech technologies with military applications, they built up contacts with numerous scientists at German universities and research institutes. In particular, they focused on fostering contacts with university professors in the areas of aerospace, space travel, IT, and artificial intelligence. Among other roles, they said to have posed as translators and employees of German car parts suppliers to gain access. So what? I think it's a pretty interesting case, as the spies weren't targeting government secrets. Well, not direct government secrets, but more information that was helpful to corporate companies. And it kind of goes to what China does, something different when it comes to espionage, where they actually use their government intelligence agencies to collect corporate information that could benefit Chinese companies to try and get the country ahead. It shows that China's goal of stealing technological information is still very much alive. This is something they've been known to do in the past, especially in the US against large IT companies and tech companies during the IT boom of the early 2000s. Yeah, it's almost certain China's going to deny this and then just move on. A bit of a what are you going to do about it type situation, as is pretty similar, normal for espionage cases, especially when people get caught. And next, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz is proposing giving Ukraine a direct role in European structures as an interim step to EU membership that could help facilitate a deal to end the war triggered by Russia's invasion. In a letter to the EU leaders seen by Reuters, Merz suggested that Ukraine could be granted a new status as associate member that would allow Ukrainian officials to take part in EU summits and ministerial meetings but not vote in them. So what? This could be a pretty positive step for Ukraine and one that could benefit their economy greatly, provided they survive the war. I think, there's a lot of emphasis recently being placed upon what's going to happen after the war, but in my opinion, everyone still needs to focus on the war, as this is still the most tantamount problem they're facing, right? What we do after the war is good to talk about, but you've got to win the war first. You've got to survive. That is kind of key. Also, I think it's likely to annoy other countries. There's a lot of countries, especially in the Balkan regions, that have wanted EU membership for a long time and have been doing a lot to gain access to the EU. So it's likely that this is going to upset them. Turkey could also kick off a bit. They tried to get EU membership probably like 20 years ago or something, and are still technically in the process, but have made it pretty clear they don't care about it anymore. Yeah, so they could kick up a bit of a fuss about it. And lastly, Iran's newly established Persian Gulf Strait Authority announced on Wednesday what it called a controlled maritime zone at the Straits of Hormuz. To pass through the straits, vessels would need to coordinate their route and get authorities' approval. The Persian Gulf Authority posted a map of the newly created zone on X. According to the map, the relevant zone would be a line connecting 2 places in Iran with a place in the UAE on the eastern side of the strait, to a line connecting to Qassim Island in Iran and another place in the UAE. Navigate through. So what? I think Iran having control over the Straits of Hormuz completely is likely a worst case scenario for the US and Trump in particular. If the key outcome of his war in Iran is that Iran now has complete control over the strait, the Gulf states will likely look to China both for security and economic support, likely helping them negotiate with Iran to get their oil and gas out easier. While the US can continue to conduct its own blockade, in my opinion, Iran can simply wait them out. Conducting this kind of blockade over a long period of time is a tiring and costly endeavor, and one that the US is likely to back down on over time. So I think Iran can simply just wait. It does seem possible that the US is going to go back to war with Iran in the near future, possibly even as close as this weekend, but we'll have to wait and see as Trump seems to be flipping and flopping about what's going to happen there. But anyway, that's been the Intel Brief. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you again tomorrow.